Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm taking a look at the Light at the End, which is the 50th anniversary episode from Big Finish. Also, this is my first Big Finish Doctor Who review of 2016, so, I'm doing it the right way, starting it the right way, let's hope. Also, personally to me, this marks my 20th Big Finish release. So yeah, very big special episode for a lot of reasons to me. First of all, I'll go through the packaging. We have here the cover, which is absolutely phenomenal. You've got Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy and Paul McGann there. And then you've got Geoffrey Beevor's Master in the centre. On the banner, you've got the 1963 sort of William Hartnell Doctor Who logo, which, is amazing. The Light at the End by Nicholas Briggs. Then you've got the TARDIS, which just looks so amazingly cool there on the banner. Starring, again, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy and Paul McGann. You've got the Big Finish logo there. You've got the 50th anniversary logo there to symbolise that it's 50th anniversary merchandise. In the inside you've got the booklet, and you've got 2 discs, and then you've got an advertisement for some more Big Finish stuff. You've got 2 discs which are just both the parts of the story, and then on the back you've got a blurb, the running times and the massive amount of cast in this story. It's a very good packaging. So where would I start with this? It's a very good story. It's a romp of a story. It really is a good story, and I like, surprisingly enough, I like Colin Baker in this, when he is in this. He is in it later on in the story. The most 2 prominent Doctors, I'd say, are probably the 4th Doctor and the 8th Doctor, and that, which isn't a bad thing, and their dialogue between each other, for lack of a better word, their banter between each other, is just, hilarious and comedic, and it never feels like too sort of forced. It feels very natural from both the actors, which is it's kind of strange, because apparently, I've only found this out recently, but apparently Paul McGann was very nervous about doing this, or recording this, because he was nervous about meeting Tom, because obviously everyone said that he's mad as a hatter, which he is, but to be honest, they work so well. They just gel with each other so well, at least on this, anyway, and I can imagine they were best of buds, hopefully, behind the scenes. Pete Davidson's really good in this. And so Sylvester McCoy. My major only gripe, Doctor-wise, is that Sylvester McCoy is criminally not in this enough, I think. He really only gets a few scenes. He is probably the Doctor who gets the least amount of time, which is a shame. All the companions get the same amount of time, they all get a good enough amount of time, in my opinion, and they all get stolen by the Master. Spoiler alert, I'm sorry for revealing that, but, what was I going to say? The plot is good, and that, I just feel like there are bits of this story where it slows down quite a bit, or it drags a bit, there's a bit of padding, like, there is the the inclusion, should I say, of this character called Straxus, who was, in Dark Eyes, the first box set. I don't know if he reappears in the later box sets, but he is in the first one, and he's in this, and I like him as a character. I just felt like his character in this was just not very... It was good, and the acting was good. It was just the character just felt like he was only there for the sake of sort of, fandom, for the sake of the fans, basically. I don't know, I mean, again, he kind of just felt like he was just there to sort of dispute, or go about this sort of, explaining this side plot And that, because there are a few other bits to this story. There's one major storyline, and then there are probably two side plots, which is this thing about the Time Lords and this other thing about this planet, Vess, or the Vess creatures or aliens are on there, and it's this weapons factory. Straxus and Colin Baker's Doctor discuss about this, and yeah, it refers to the Time Lords and stuff like that. And yeah, it just felt like a kind of a boring sort of a bit of padding, really, on Nicholas Briggs' part about the Time Lords. It didn't really feel like it really added much to the story overall. The music is phenomenal in this. I love the music. It's fast-paced, it's dramatic, it goes with a lot of the scenes. Peter Davison also, as much as he is brilliant in this, I just feel like he's also not in this story that much, which is kind of weird because he indirectly causes this story to be the way it is. If you've seen the story, you know what I mean. Geoffrey Beevers is phenomenal in this. He is just the master to a T. He's this arch, manipulating, dark, vindictive, opposing threat, really. My only complaint on his part would be that maybe he could have been in it a bit more, but then again, you could argue that would take away from his sort of puppet master-like figure, because he's more of a prominent role, and that. As I say, all the companions were fantastic in this and worked well with other doctors, or with the respected doctors they are with, and then the other doctors they're talking to and stuff, like Leela. You know, Louise Jemison is phenomenal, and she works well with Paul McGann for the time that she has with him. You know, the music, as I said before, is really good, and the title sequence music is phenomenal. As always, you know, yeah, as I say, I wish Pete Davison was in this a bit more, because I did really like when he was in this, and he plays this sort of detective-like role, sort of talking to Bob Dove, who is this really innocent sort of bystander, but he is actually at the heart of this story, the person who gets affected by this quite a bit, which is quite a shame, really, because he's just this really likable and relatable character, because he's so simplistic as a character anyway. And I think, what was I going to say? I think his what happens to his family. If you've watched a lot of classic Doctor Who, then you might be able to guess what happened, and that does take away from the shock value, unfortunately. But it is still really sort of grim when you realise what it is. There are quite a few comedic elements to this story, which I don't feel like ruin the story that much. And they are nice inclusions and that. And as I say, like when Tom and McGann are just disputing with each other and sort of, for lack of a better word again, having banter with one another, it's really playful and it feels very natural, but it doesn't feel like it's sort of there for padding, and it doesn't feel like it takes out from the story, you know, because as soon as they've kind of done that sort of stuff, it's straight back into the action and sort of into the heart of the rest of the story, and I think that's awesome. Yeah, as I say, I think the Master gets defeated pretty well, and there is this sort of inclusion of this bomb, but I think just the bomb works well as a plot device, and it works well, and it is used well. It felt like it got a bit, there was a bit of a drag to get to how we found out about the bomb and stuff, like Colin's talking to, Straxus, and it just felt like he was just kind of prolonging, the story, as I said before, and it just felt like padding at that point. As I said before, Sylvester McCoy is criminally underused, and even though Colin is introduced into the story and more into the story in the second part, it would have been nice if he was in it a bit more, and that's coming from someone who's not a big fan of Colin Baker's Doctor, but even I would have liked some more from Colin. But at least he gets like a standout character moment, and his incarnation is actually got a moment to shine, and that and make like a mark on the story and do what his character does well, which is this sort of this sort of debater and this person who can twist what the Time Lords are on about. I just generally feel like Sylvester McCoy didn't even get like a standout character moment. You know, Tom gets to be eccentric, Paul McGann gets to be, you know, Paul McGann essentially, Peter Davison gets to be this sort of detective-like person with Nyssa. As I said before, Colin gets to be this sort of person who can, you know, turn what the Time Lords are saying and that, but I just felt like Sylvester just got left out. Even though saying that, Ace was really good, you know, played by Sophie Aldridge. She was phenomenal. All that said, I would give this a well-earned 9 out of 10. It is a fantastic story, even though it's got its flaws. And I just think if you've never got a Big Finish story, I think this is probably the best starting point, because it gives you a taster of all the Big Finish Doctors and that, and also it's well done. It's, you know, it's the audio quality is fantastic. 10 out of 10 for audio quality. It's fantastic audio quality. And as I say, you know, the performance from all the Doctors is absolutely amazing. It's just, again, some of them aren't in it enough for my liking. All the companions are in there enough, and they're all brilliant as well. So again, a 9 out of 10, a must-have for anyone who thinks or considers themselves any bit the Doctor Who fan. Thanks for watching, comment, rate and subscribe.